Have you ever been working on a project, you find the perfect photo online, and then you stop and think, wait, am I actually allowed to use this? Well, today we're decoding the simple symbols that answer that exact question. This is the hidden language of online creativity, and once you get it, you're going to see the internet in a whole new way.
Yeah, I'm talking about these little icons. You've definitely seen them around. And if you've ever paused and wondered, what do these actually mean? Can I use this for my presentation? Is it cool if I put it on my blog? Can I remix this into the next great meme? Well, you're asking the right questions. Those symbols hold all the answers, and we're about to crack the code.
So to really get why these symbols were such a game changer, we have to rewind a bit. We got to look at the world before Creative Commons. Back then, if you made something, anything, you were basically stuck with a really rigid all-or-nothing choice. On one side, you had the public domain. Think of it like the creative Wild West. Everything was totally fair game for anyone to use for any reason. But on the other side, the default for everything new was all rights reserved copyright. And that was like a locked box. Nobody could touch, share, or build on your work unless they hunted you down and got your explicit permission first. There was no middle ground. And this, well, this created a huge problem. The internet was built on a culture of sharing, of sampling, of remixing. This new collaborative spirit just slammed headfirst into the brick wall of old-school copyright. There was no easy, legal way for creators to just say, hey, please, use my work. Just follow these simple rules.
So you've got this major clash between internet culture and the law, a huge gap. So back in 2001, a group of really forward-thinking legal scholars and tech folks got together to build a bridge, and they called it Creative Commons. Now, the brilliant part of their solution is that it doesn't try to get rid of copyright. It works with it. Instead of that old all rights reserved, Creative Commons gives us a much more flexible idea, some rights reserved. They created this amazing toolkit of free, easy-to-understand licenses that let creators decide the rules for their work right from the start. So the first batch of licenses dropped back in 2002. Over the next decade, they tweaked them, adapted them for different laws around the world, until finally, in 2013, we got version 4.0. And that became the universal standard, a common language for sharing that works everywhere, from Tokyo to Toronto. So, how does this whole system actually work? It's honestly brilliant and way simpler than you'd think. It's kind of like a set of creative Legos. There are just 4 basic building blocks, and every single license is just a combination of these 4 simple pieces. Okay, first, you've got BY, or attribution. This one's the foundation of almost everything. It just means, hey, you have to give me credit for my work. Simple. Next is SA, for share alike. This is like a pay-it-forward rule. If you remix my work, you have to share your new creation under the exact same license. Then there's NC, non-commercial. Pretty straightforward. You can use the work, but not to make money. And finally, ND, no derivatives. This means you can share the work, but you can't change it. No remixes, no edits. Okay, so we've got our 4 Lego blocks. Now let's start clicking them together and see what we can build. By combining them in different ways, we get the 6 main licenses you're going to see all over the internet. You can see how they all stack up here. At the very top, you have CC BY. That's the most open license. The only rule? Give credit. That's it. From there, we start adding restrictions. CC BY SA adds that share-alike rule. Then you've got the NC versions, which say you can't use it for commercial purposes. And all the way at the bottom, you have the most restrictive combo, CC BY NC ND. With that one, you can share it, but you can't change it, and you can't make money from it. It's a whole spectrum, from most open to most lockdown. Now those top 2 licenses, CC BY and CC BY SA, they're kind of special. They are considered free cultural works licenses. And this is a huge deal because they are the only Creative Commons licenses allowed for content on massive collaborative projects like Wikipedia. Why? Because they guarantee that knowledge can be freely used, shared, and built upon by anyone, for any purpose, forever. But what if you want to go even further? What if you want to just give your work to the world, no strings attached? That's where CC0, or CC0, comes in. Now, this isn't really a license at all. It's more of a release form. When a creator uses CC0, they are essentially gifting their work to the public domain, waiving all their rights. It's the ultimate no rights reserved. Okay, so we know the different rules and all the license recipes. But let's be real. Why is getting this right so important? What are the actual stakes here?
Giving proper credit can feel tricky, but there's a super simple acronym to remember it all. TASL. TASL. T is for the work's title. A is for the author you need to credit. S is for the source, a link back to where you found it. And L is for the license itself, with a link to it. As long as you have those 4 things, you are golden.
All right, theory is one thing. But does this stuff actually hold up in the real world, like in a courtroom? Well, let's talk about a famous case that put these licenses right to the test.
This is the story of Allison Chang. A photo of her at a church car wash was uploaded to Flickr under a simple CC BY license. So, Virgin Mobile Australia sees the photo, loves it, and slaps it onto a huge national ad campaign. And they could do that, commercially and legally, because they followed the one simple rule of the license. They gave attribution by printing a link to the photographer's Flickr page right there on the ad.
Now, what's interesting is the lawsuit that followed wasn't actually about the copyright. It was about using a minor's picture in an ad. The copyright part was never in doubt. And that's the key takeaway here. Time and time again, in courts all over the world, Creative Commons licenses have been proven to be legally rock solid. These aren't just polite suggestions, they have real legal teeth.
So just how big is this whole thing? Well, as of 2019, there were over 1.6 billion, with a B, works shared under a Creative Commons license. This is not some small niche community. We're talking about a foundational part of how the internet works, fueling everything from art and music to science and education on a massive global scale.
So there you have it. That's the language of sharing online. It's a simple, powerful toolkit that gives us all a choice beyond just all rights reserved. You know how to read the symbols now, you know how to use other people's work correctly, and you know how to share your own. The only question left is, what are you going to create? And how will you choose to share it with the world?